Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Profit Plays live show here on YouTube channel. Joining me, as always, we have Trey Trends and the new kid on the block, Seth Chandler, who will be joining us on these lives from now on. Guys, we have a couple topics to discuss. We have NBA free agency recap now that the dust has settled. We are going to talk about best signings, winners, losers, where is Dame going, and who has the best shot right now next season to win it all. We have the MLB All-Star Game recap, home run derby recap, Pat Fitzgerald and the Northwest incident, scandal, whatever you want to call it, categories game, our top 5 college sports traditions of all time, and finally trivia with a $50 giveaway. Guys, let's get right into it. Best signings and worst signings of the NBA free agency so far. Trey, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to start with my two favorite. I loved the Max Strus to Cleveland and the George Niang move to Cleveland. I think Cleveland had a really good offseason so far because both those moves gave them what they needed. They needed some spacing out on the floor. They had a lot of good playmakers, but not a lot of great shooters, and that's exactly what Strus and Niang both bring to the table. And then my least favorite, I got to start off with this Jeremy Grant one. I love Grant more than anybody, but 5 years, 160, an average of $32 million per year for a guy who's maybe a third best player at best. It's just no bueno for a Trailblazers team that really has no light at the end of their tunnel. And then I also didn't like the Fred VanVleet one. 3 years, 128 million, 42, almost 43 million per year. That's just insane for Fred VanVleet, who we saw many times last season not cash any of our player props. He was not very good. He was very inefficient whenever he was shooting. He was having a lot of 6 for 24 games and just not dishing out the assists as what we saw him in the past. So those are my two favorite ones. I loved Max Strus and George Niang, and I did not love Jeremy Grant, nor did I love Fred VanVleet. I did not love the big money that was getting thrown around this summer.
Yeah, Trey, Jay said in the chat, I think the best signing so far has been with Trey's Lakers because I'm very high on Gabe Vincent, who was a big part of that Miami Heat run to the finals. That is a great piece to go along with the people that they brought back, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's a good shooter. He's a good ball handler. He has that Heat culture, which I love. And they only got him for $11 million a year, which sounds like a lot, but in today's game, that's not a lot. A couple comparisons to his contract. Matisse Thybulle, who is only really known for defense, and he's a very good defender, but he does not have a jumper. He's making $11 million and change a year for Portland Trailblazers. Another comparison is Kobe White for the Chicago Bulls. He's making $12 million coming off the bench for the Chicago Bulls, averaging 12 points and 2 assists a game. So when I look at that signing by the Lakers, I think that's fantastic. I think that's a guy who is really worth $15 to $20 million a year in Gabe Vincent, and he should be great for the Lakers. So that's a very good signing, my best signing so far. My worst is going to be, surprisingly, Bradley Beal going to Phoenix, and I understand that having Bradley Beal on that team now moves the Phoenix Suns to whatever fictional reality you want to put them in come playoff time. But let me tell you something about the Phoenix Suns. Bringing Bradley Beal in didn't really do anything for them because now they have 3 shooters on the team, all of those guys. And I will say Bradley Beal over the last couple years has really stepped back from being a shooter because he had Kyle Kuzma on his team, and we all know Kyle Kuzma is a chucker. But all 3 of those guys are trigger happy. They love to shoot the ball. Then we have DeAndre Ayton down low, who I have mixed feelings about ever since he came back to the league. I think he's soft. I think the Phoenix Suns are soft. This is why this trade doesn't work because right now the Suns have the number 1 shooting guard, Devin Booker. They have the number 3 shooting guard, Bradley Beal. They have the number 2 power forward, Kevin Durant. And they have the number 7 center, DeAndre Ayton, according to the NBA rankings. This is a team game. Those 4 players are going to be great together. But to win championships, you need a bench. They don't have a bench. Their bench right now, one single player who ranks above number 40 in their current position. They don't have one single player above 40. So, for example, their best bench player right now, Eric Gordon, who is a number 44 small forward in the NBA ranking. The next best would be Cameron Payne, who is number 47 point guard ranked-wise at the position. They just don't have a bench, plain and simple. The Stars are going to be gassed late in the season. They're going to be a very good team, but they are not going to win a championship with the current roster they have. And that is also why I like the Lakers. They did a great job with Gabe Vincent because they got better. Everybody knows Gabe Vincent isn't the flashiest sign this offseason, but the Lakers went and they got what they needed. That's what I like about the Lakers. The Suns did not need Bradley Beal. They're going to be paying him $50 million a year for the next 4 years, and he's just not worth it anymore, in my opinion. So Bradley Beal would be my worst sign of the offseason. Gabe Vincent, my best. Seth, what do you got?
You know, I'm going to agree with Jay on this one. Gabe Vincent was my biggest signing. The Lakers were the biggest winner on this. You're talking about a guy that helped the Miami Heat. He was a big-time contributor helping them get to the NBA Finals. And not only that, he was top 5 in the NBA playoffs on three-pointers made, which is what the Lakers need. They need three-point shooting. He's going to be perfect with the lineup that features LeBron and AD. I think that's a great pick. Another pick or pickup I really liked is one that people may not have heard. We're going to go to the Kings signing, and I might butcher his name, Sasha Vincenkov. He was the EuroLeague MVP last year, and this is a dude that lit it up last year. We're not talking about like he was just a good player. He was a great player in the EuroLeague and very competitive. I mean, that dude's going to be insane, I think, in that lineup when you pair him with Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. I think that was a great signing. And Jesse, on your point, I don't really mind the Eric Gordon signing so much with the Suns just because they got him on such a team-friendly deal. True. And to be honest, I actually kind of like what the Suns did to fill the team around Bradley Beal, KD, Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. They didn't have much money to play with, and they went out there and got guys that can solidly contribute off the bench. I mean, they kept Josh Okogie, who had a very good year last year. They kept Damian Lee. I'm not like super high on Keita Bates-Diop, but I think he is somebody that has, when he's been given the chance on the Spurs, he's shown he can produce about 15 points per game. So I don't think that's one that's that bad of a signing. And I like the athleticism of Chimezie Metu, who they also brought in. Mm-hmm. And then they also brought in a really good center in Drew Eubanks, who, when starting last year for Nurkic, averaged a double-double. So I don't mind what the Suns did. I mean, you're right. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and KD are all going to be mid-range guys that are going to be the same style of game. But I do think what they did to build around that gives them a chance. They're actually one team that I do like going into this year if they can figure out how to mesh in a short amount of time. My least favorite signing was definitely Bruce Brown. I do not think Bruce Brown should have made the money he made just because he was on the best team in the NBA last year. I mean, you're talking about a team that had Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. I mean, Bruce Brown knocked down some big threes. I will give him that, and played good defense, but I don't think he was worth the money the Pacers gave him.
Yeah, to the Suns' point, I think if they are in the playoffs, if you put them in the playoffs next year, if it's a 3-game series, I think they win. If it's a 7, I think they'll lose. So that's just my opinion on that. But the other signings I thought were interesting. Fred VanVleet, Trey mentioned it, to the Rockets, and also Dylan Brooks for the Rockets. The Rockets did what they were supposed to do. They had a lot of money to spend. I just don't think they picked the right guys. VanVleet, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's going to be that good. And Dylan Brooks does not deserve to be in the NBA, let alone making $21 million a year to play the game. I don't like the Pacers really either. Seth mentioned it, paying Bruce Brown $22.5 million. It seems like a lot a year, but I do like Bruce Brown. I'm glad he got paid for his finals play and his playoff play for the Denver Nuggets. I don't like the Golden State Warriors getting Chris Paul. The only reason I think that they did that was to get Jordan Poole out the door. They brought back Draymond, which I thought is a very good idea. It keeps the core 3 guys together for maybe another championship run. But bringing in Chris Paul does nothing for them, and it makes a veteran guy like Chris Paul have to sit on the bench, which is probably not going to be good for team morale. Another one I like, the Grizzlies. They brought in Derrick Rose because I think they're going to use him as a babysitter for John Morant now. He definitely needs a veteran leadership person in his life because he is going downhill fast off the court. And then lastly, I'll stop after this. I think the Mavericks, they did everything they could because you probably should have re-signed Kyrie Irving, and they did. Yeah, but I think they did the best that they could with the situation that they were in because we don't know what Kyrie Irving is going to do this season. He might play, he might sit, he might take an 8-week vacation in the middle of the season just because he feels like it. There's no telling what he does, but the Mavericks' hands were tied, and they signed him, so they did a good job. Good job, Mavericks. Trey, you have anything to add for these free agents?
The only thing I need to add is I don't know what Tarvosky Green's talking about, Bear. You might need to let him know.
Tarvosky, I've sent you 3 emails. I've commented to you in the chat. You got to check your spam probably on these emails. I'm sending you on my personal email, so check your spam, check your trash, because they're probably in there. We would love to have you on for trivia next week. We've been dying to have a Bear Pack member on for trivia. So I don't know. Maybe after this, you can comment down below, or I'm pretty sure you're a member on the site. Maybe I'll make you a little thing on the site, and I'll give you my phone number or something so we can text back and forth instead of email. But yeah, we are dying to have somebody on the trivia, so that would be great for next week if we want to get in contact with that. But Trey, anything else for these NBA free agents?
No, I just am excited to talk about Dame Lillard. Who knows where he's going to be going, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, Seth, I'll let you start with the Dame talk. Where do you think he's heading?
Oh man, you guys, this Dame stuff's starting to get to me. He's now having his agent go out and tell teams that aren't named the Miami Heat that they will be getting an unhappy player if they go and trade for him. He's making it super, super hard on the Trailblazers. And my thing is, he's expendable right now because if you watch that first game Scoot Henderson played, he looks like he's the real deal, and he looks like he's ready to take over. I think the Hornets were absolutely dumb to pass on Scoot Henderson. But my biggest thing with the Blazers is why not just hold on to him? Hold on to him and pair him with Scoot. And because they have a decent core. I mean, you're talking about Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic. You still have Anthony Simons. I mean, now Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, and Dame. That's a pretty good qualified team, if you ask me. So I would hold on to him. But my question to you guys is, with his agent going out and telling all these other teams not named, the Heat, this, if you were a GM, would you still go trade for him?
Yes, 100%. Trey?
I mean, we saw what the Raptors did, and they got a championship out of Kawhi, and Kawhi left, and they've been slightly above average ever since then. It depends on the team. I think I would trade for him, but at the same time, if his agent is doing that, which I've heard that report too, it's just driving down his value, so I'm not for sure I would be giving up a big haul for him.
Yeah, let me just put what I wrote here. I think he's going to go to the Miami Heat, and that is not me thinking that. That's his agent, Aaron Godwin, who basically said all these trade suggestions and teams interested in Damian Lillard. They aren't even listening to that conversation. The Trailblazers are listening, but Damian Lillard is saying he wants to go to the Miami Heat, and that is the only place he wants to go. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe it's the weather and the beaches and all the nice things that come with Miami, but I think if he wants to win a ring, he should want to go to a place like Boston. If Boston was able to throw a bunch of picks at the Trailblazers, then maybe throw in a Jaylen Brown. I think if you throw Damian Lillard in there with Tatum and Porzingis, they would win a title. I really wish that it was the Oklahoma City Thunder, though. 7 first-round picks is what I have it at the Trailblazers would get, because Portland, I think, would be definitely – they would take that for Damian Lillard. But again, Lillard says, and his agent says, he only wants to go to Miami. My dream spot would be OKC for Lillard because they have all those young pieces. They just need that one guy to come in, the veteran with Shai Gilgeous, and they would win a title in a couple years. But again, it looks like Lillard and his agent are saying we only want to go to Miami. And because of this, I think the Trailblazers should work out a way to deal him to Miami, because they could get a couple first-round picks and Tyler Hero probably from the Heat. And what that also could do is show the rest of the league how to treat a guy who's been loyal to your team for 10-plus years. The Blazers, while not might be the best deal for them, can show the rest of the league, if you give us 10-plus years of your best basketball and not jump around ring-chasing early like we have seen Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, all these big-name players do, your loyalty will be rewarded by us showing you some sort of compassion and appreciation when your time is over with our team. I think that can help the Blazers in the future for people coming, free agents. I think it could help other players be more loyal to their teams in the future as well. That's just my thought on it. More times than not, that's not how it's going to work, because money talks, and it is a business, and people are concerned with the player who isn't going to play for them anymore. So they just try to get the best deal that they can, acting like he didn't give 10-plus years of his life to them. But it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a dog-eat-dog league. It'd be nice to see Portland do this for Dame, but I think he's going to Miami regardless of what happens. But, Trey, what do you think?
Oh, Damian Lillard. It's basically a question on if he's going to get moved to the Heat, because he's going to get moved from the Trailblazers at this time. Yeah. There's no way they can have him back even in training camp. So he needs to be moved sooner rather than later. But the Trailblazers, they've said that they're going to be waiting for the best deal. They're in no rush to move Dame. So it's kind of an interesting conundrum, but we've seen it very many times in the past. When an NBA star requests a trade, they get out of there very quickly. James Harden, he's requested a trade 3, 4, 5 times, and he gets out of there. It doesn't matter what happens. He's going to get out of the 76ers eventually too. I think he's going to go to the Heat. I think the Heat are going to somehow, some way find that third team that loves Tyler Hero. That's essentially what this comes down to. They have a trade package and set. They just need to find whoever wants Tyler Hero and who's going to send them the first-round pick to the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, they want picks. They don't care about Tyler Hero. They need to find a trade partner who's going to want to give up picks for Hero. I just don't know who that's going to be.
I really hope – I mean, I know it's not going to happen, but OKC, they have 55 draft picks. So if OKC finds a way to get Lillard – and Lillard is not on James Harden's level, right? We're 100% on that, right? I think Lillard's a top 10 player. Right? Lillard is a top 10 player. Harden is not, correct?
Okay, yes, right.
Okay, yeah. First, I think Lillard is way better.
I would love to see Hero on the Pacers. I think him with Halliburton would be absolutely disgusting, nasty. I would love that.
Hero's a dog. I mean, let's not get this wrong. Anybody who jumps in on this and gets Tyler Hero is also winning the trade. I mean, Tyler Hero is a very, very, very good player. I mean, it's just that simple.
He's got that dog in him. I would love to see OKC. Probably not going to happen. It'll probably be Miami. It'll be interesting to see. I'm ready for the NBA to start next season. But, guys, let's talk. Oh, no, we have who's going to win it all next season. Predictions to win it all next season. Trey, I'll let you start.
I'll even put up what FanDuel has right here for who they think is going to win. Right now, they have the Boston Celtics and the Nuggets at the top. But I'm going to give you guys a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference team who I think is going to win, and then who I think is going to win. Now, I'm also going to give out who I think is going to be best value, and I'll start with that. I think the best value play here is the Los Angeles Clippers at plus 1,900. I think they have a great chance to win. They would have had a great chance to win last season if Kawhi didn't get hurt. We saw the performance that he was putting on that first round. The Clippers are scary when they get healthy, and sooner than later, Kawhi and PG have to be healthy. I know they're getting older, so the chances of that are getting slimmer, but they're two elite players. I think that they're going to get healthy, but who I think is going to actually be in the finals, it's hard to bet against this Nuggets team. They looked amazing. At plus 480, it's not very good value whatsoever, but I would still be hammering that here because we saw them absolutely cakewalk through the NBA Finals, through the Western Conference division as well. And then on the East, I'm going to be taking the Bucks. The Bucks, they got a shorthanded the stick last season. They lost to the Heat in the first round, but Giannis, he did get hurt for the game 2, 3, and 4. Came back, but it was too late. Could not put the Bucks on his back to beat the Heat. I love the Bucks. I think the Bucks at plus 550 is actually pretty good value. I'd be putting down like $100 on that and get 550 come June. That is a great payday. So those are my three teams I'm probably betting futures on is the Nuggets, the Bucks, and the Clippers. I want to say the Lakers, but at the end of the day, they broke my heart for, I think, 3 years straight, me betting their over wins. So I'm staying away from the Lakers.
Yeah, Trey, I want to point out before I say mine, it looks like the book already knows where Damian Lillard's going because the Miami Heat are the 5th best odds right now, and they have lost everybody. So they obviously know Dame's going to the Heat. Yeah, Trey, you said it. I'm going to go with the Lakers. They're going to win it all. The role players pick up on aging LeBron, although he still puts up MVP-like numbers, blah, blah, blah. LeBron's still going to be good. AD finally stays healthy for once, and they make the run. They beat the Nuggets in the West, and they beat the Bucks in the finals. That will be my winner to win next season. Scroll down, though. I want to see this disrespect that they put on the Detroit Pistons, right? Is that the team at the very bottom? How is the Detroit Pistons at the very bottom? Seriously, how is that possible? They're young. They got a new coach. I think they're going to be good. Trey, any thoughts on that?
I mean, they're definitely young. We saw the Kings take a big step forward after they got a couple years with their young core. And I think that we're getting a very good discount line because a lot of the people – they got a very bad taste in their mouth with the Pistons last season. But if we remember, Cade Cunningham did not play much of anything last season due to injury. He's going to come back better than ever this season. And the Detroit Pistons, their backcourt is absolutely loaded. They just need to find somebody in the front court. They traded for James Wiseman. Don't think that was the right decision.
Yeah, I don't know how they're last. Seth, what's your pick to win it all?
You know, Jesse, I'm going to agree with you on the West. I think LeBron, the LeBron haters are getting too thick right now. Everybody, even Kendrick Perkins went out and said, I don't think LeBron can carry a team anymore at his age. Anytime people do that to LeBron, it's never a good thing. I do think LeBron Davis and the role players, AR-15, Austin Reeves, baby, I think they get back to the Western Conference Finals this year. I think LeBron James still has doubters that he wants to prove wrong. And for the Eastern Conference, I like the Boston Celtics. I think we're going to see one of those Lakers-Celtics big-time rivalries going on. I like what the Celtics did this offseason. I like them adding Porzingis. I love them keeping Derek White. I think their role players and just how the Celtics go about things, and Jason Tatum's just a rising star. Jason Tatum can flat-out score. I like the Celtics and Lakers. And then this isn't a team I'm saying is going to go to the finals by any means, but one team I want people to watch out for, I'm projecting them to finish top 6 in the West, is the Utah Jazz. I think what the Utah Jazz have done this year by their drafting, adding John Collins, re-signing Jordan Clarkson, I think the Jazz are going to be scary. The Jazz were in it most of last season. And before Lauri Markkanen got hurt and then they fell out a little bit, I think this is the year the Jazz have a top 6 finish, and I think they're going to be pushing teams, and I think people are going to be sleeping on them.
Yeah, the Jazz had the best draft, in my opinion, in the draft. But notice how we all said a team and nobody said the Suns. All right, we're moving on to the MLB All-Star Game recap and the Home Run Derby recap. I'll start off here. The NL won, as I predicted. The game was boring. I was begging for a tie so we could have the mini home run derby for the tiebreaker. The first 2 outs were the most exciting part of the game. That's all I have. Seth, I know you wanted to go on a little bit of tangent here. What do you have?
Well, I'll start with the All-Star game first. Another pitcher's duel. I mean, when you have all these good pitchers in there, and I mean, each year the hitting numbers are going down, down, down. I mean, what do we expect to see when we get to the All-Star game besides pitching and fielding? I mean, like you said, the first two plays of the games were extremely great to watch. And then one thing I don't get is Felix Bautista coming in and throwing 4 straight 83-mile-per-hour sliders. Like, you have 103 in your repertoire. Like, throw the fastball. Like, he was sitting on the slider, and they let the Rockies catcher hit a 2-run home run to put him up. I mean, nothing against Elias Diaz, but come on. I mean, that's not the guy you think's gonna win the game for the NL. But now I'm gonna go on my little dirt path here. So as a Cardinals fan, that was absolutely horrid to have to watch. You're talking about 3 ex-Cardinals prospects, all all-star starters. We're going to start with Zach Gallen, who went in and K'd 2 of the 3 batters he faced. One of them, Shohei. He made him look silly. That was a Cardinals prospect. Then we're talking about Randy Arozarena and Adolis Garcia, the 2 outfielders that made the great plays in the first innings. So that is 3 Cardinals prospects that I had to sit there and watch that are no longer Cardinals prospects. It's time for a change in the front office. And not to mention, there was one other player involved in the same trade as Zach Gallen that has been a stud for the last 3 seasons that didn't make the All-Star game this year, Sandy Alcantara. It was Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen for Marcell Ozuna. Fire the GM. Who does that? Who makes that trade? You're talking about 2 Cy Young contenders in the NL traded for a washed player.
The Cardinals traded an all-star team. What do you want from them? And they're probably about to trade Goldie too, so that'll be fun for you whenever that happens.
We don't want to talk about that. No.
Trey, what did you think of the All-Star game?
I say, Seth, do you have anything about the home run derby or anything? I didn't want to cut you off. I didn't know if you said anything about that.
Oh, I mean, I actually texted Jesse Monday afternoon, and I told him Vlad's going to win the whole thing.
He did.
I did call it, but I was very impressed. Just watching the first round, Julio Rodriguez was insane. I mean, the dude lost, but he put on a show for his home crowd. The power the dude hits with, it was incredible. He's going to be a fun player to watch for years. And I was nervous about Vlad after watching that first round, man. He looked like he was winded. I said, this pick may not go well. And I was surprised by Arozarena as well. I thought he's more of a line drive hitter. I was like, he runs into power when there's hard pitchers. But he just – did you see how fast he was swinging the bat? They were just tossing. I think he saw like 10 more pitches per round than anybody else just because of how fast he got in there and swung. So kudos to him. He didn't beat my pick, Vlad, but hey, we'll give him a round of applause for how he hung in there.
Yeah, him and Luis Roberts. Luis Roberts looked like a machine in the first round, but then he had a strained arm or something like that, so he didn't do very well in the second one. So that was my pick. He did get hurt. I'm not taking the loss for that. But another thing about the home run derby, MLB should be brought up on charges for attempted murder for all the kids who are tasked with catching 120-mile-per-hour baseballs. Vladdy absolutely smacked the kid with a 120-mile-per-hour ball to the face, and his face was destroyed. But Vlad did win the derby, so good for him. He was jacked up about it. I love that Big Papi was behind him trying to cool him down, and they have a flashback of Vlad Guerrero Jr. doing the same thing to Big Papi when he was in the home run derby. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was a little kid, and Big Papi was the hitter, obviously. So those are some cool moments there. But the MLB has to do something about the kids in the outfield, maybe a little bit of a tryout before they go out there so they know they can catch the ball. I know that those kids are probably there voluntarily, like they signed up to do it, but the MLB still has to have some sort of blame because they know even if you catch the ball, 120 coming at your face, if you take your eye off for half a second, you're getting rocked. So a rule change for the kids in the outfield probably next year. Other than that, I thought it was better than the All-Star game by a lot. But give me the 10 outs again in the home run derby instead of this timer crap. I couldn't even enjoy the home runs that I was watching because they were coming so fast. If I see somebody hit a 500-foot home run, I want to be able to see it hit the stands. And those guys were absolutely gassed, like you said, after 3 minutes. So they could barely get it out of the park by the end. So bring back the 10 outs, have them swing as hard as they can every pitch instead of trying to rush to hit a number. So that's the only thing I thought about the home run derby. Trey?
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the timer because, like Seth was saying earlier, Vlad Guerrero was tired after the first round. That's not even fair because they have to literally try to swing as hard as they can, get as many pitches as they can in that time. And then they even get the bonus time if they rock 460-yard home runs. So I didn't really like the home run derby. I liked it a lot more, like what Bear said, when you could actually watch the balls. We got to see one out of every 3 balls actually hit the stands. It just wasn't good TV, but it was tough. I was kind of rooting for Mookie Betts, but the small guy didn't have enough power, so it was tough to see. And then the actual All-Star game, and we have a wheel for the All-Star game. I don't know if Bear touched on that, but I got the wheel ready, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you guys did bet on the NL and fade Trey, you guys ended up on the wheel, and I even threw Jordan on the wheel as well. He was commenting earlier asking if you get on the wheel, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? I'll throw you on the wheel for fun. So stay in tune for the wheel, but I did also have the under. So I expected it to be a pitcher's duel. The under's been hitting in almost every All-Star game over the past 10 years. Pitchers, their velocity is going up, and it's just harder. And whenever they're literally facing the best pitchers on the best teams, there's just no breaks. So I love the All-Star game. I'm not sure what they could do to make it better because everyone loves seeing runs. And whenever they have a bullpen full of All-Star pitchers, it's hard to score runs. But it was still good.
Yeah, that is true. But let's talk about something more concerning. Pat Fitzgerald talked about Northwestern. This was shocking news to me because I love Pat Fitzgerald and I love Northwestern. But he was fired on Monday for hazing scandal that called into question his leadership of the program and damaged the university's reputation after they mishandled his response to the allegations. I think I'm going to go last on this one. I'm going to have Seth go first. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I just saw a report come out the other day that Fitzgerald's lawyer has came out and said they won't back down from going after the school because clearly the school has no evidence against this. They're going off an ex-player, disgruntled player at that. They're going off of his word. The school has nothing on Fitzgerald from what I can tell. The lawyer doesn't think they have anything on Fitzgerald. So if I was Northwestern, the school, I would be a little bit concerned right now because I think they're on the line to pay Fitzgerald quite a bit of money just based on him getting fired. And then a report came out today that Fitzgerald wasn't the only coach at Northwestern that got the boot. Their head baseball coach of a year, Jim Foster, also got the boot today as well. And when they were asking the athletic director about this, the athletic director gave one of probably the vaguest answers anybody could give. He told them something about building a culture which allows people to thrive. That is all he told them. He wanted to build a culture where people can thrive. He said nothing else on it. But to me, it sounds like the school is saying, in quotes, saying that it looks like hazing might be going on in more than just the football program. But I would say at this point, the coaches will probably win this just because I don't think there's enough concrete evidence to say, hey, Fitzgerald knew about this. I mean, Jesse had said earlier, the kid was disgruntled and he was going to be transferring. So, I mean, it's not something that I think is going to pan out well for the school.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go last. Trey, go ahead.
Yeah, this is an interesting topic. It's hard to really know what is truth in this world nowadays. There's a lot of, like Seth said, vagueness. You're just walking through the fog on a lot of things. You don't really know what is real and what is not real. I just like to live in reality, and I just would like to put myself in that situation. They said this has been going on for 10 plus years, for a very long time. They have a lot of allegations, a lot of naked slingshots, a lot of naked dry humping, a lot of crazy things that if it was going on in my locker room, say in high school basketball, if I had to just do half the stuff what they were telling me, I would be running to anybody and everybody who'd be listening to me. So it's just hard for me to believe that nobody would say anything throughout this whole entire duration. But at the same time, we gotta kind of just wait and see, because we don't want to totally just throw this away. Because if it was happening, could only imagine those players, those memories, because I'd be scarred for life. I would not want to go back into another locker room. I wouldn't even want to transfer. I'd be like, is this what college football is like? If I go to Texas, if I go to Bama, is this what Nick Saban's doing over there? You don't know, because this is Northwestern. Northwestern is one of the most highly rated universities in the entire United States. Their academics are top notch. It's hard to get into Northwestern. So it's just mind blowing to me that all these kids who would seemingly be crazy intelligent would do this stuff. But at the same time, we never know what goes on behind closed doors. I always like to say that we don't know what's going on. And on the Pat McAfee show, he was talking about his experience at West Virginia with Rich Rodriguez, who's known as a very hard-headed guy, just kind of no nonsense, but also like lets the players be what they want. And he was saying a lot of the times whenever his assistant coaches would go up to Rich Rod, like, hey, I think this is going on, Rich Rod would stop them before they even got 3 words in and said, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
So, but also at the same time, it's also the head coach's job to know. So it's kind of like which way you going. So this saga is a little bit weird. I'm just going to let it play out and see what happens. If this all did happen, Pat Fitzgerald can't use the excuse of, oh, I didn't know. Dude, you were there for so long. Supposedly it was on their chalkboard, their whiteboard in the team locker room. You cannot tell me you did not know this was going on. I will not believe it. So we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, Trey, I'm going to start here. First off, the university found out about these so-called allegations that the football team and head coach Pat Fitzgerald were accused of, and they put him on a 2-week suspension for an investigation. That investigation did not find sufficient evidence that the coaching staff knew about ongoing hazing. Now, if you've ever been in a locker room, the coach knows everything that usually goes on in the locker room, so he probably had the opportunity if he wanted to know what was going on. But when it comes to players and the coaches in the locker room, I feel like they try to keep it separate most of the time, I feel like. And before I back the head coach here, if these things are true that I'm about to say, it is sickening, but I think it might have been blown out of proportion. The hazing included forced participation of nudity and sexualized acts of degrading nature, which they said was a clear violation of Northwestern policies and values. That led to the 2-week suspension, but then the Daily Northwestern published the story. And if you don't know anything about Northwestern, they are one of the top journalist schools, I guess I could say. If you go to Northwestern, it's a high possibility you're going into journalism. They published a story with a former player from Northwestern, who described specific instances of hazing and sexual abuse. And in that report, it said Fitzgerald may have known the hazing took place. Since those reports came out, many current and former players rushed to Fitzgerald's defense after the suspension was announced, saying there is no way Fitzgerald had anything to do with this or would have anything like that going on in his locker room. There was also a letter circulating on social media that the Northwestern football team said throughout the tenure of Coach Fitzgerald, he has consistently prioritized the well-being and development of his players, and we stand behind him in an unwavering commitment to our team. Now, there's a lot of evidence that says he does know. There's a lot of evidence he does know that what's going on, or it didn't happen. He doesn't know. There's no evidence on it. But from what I've heard and from what I've watched over the years of Northwestern and their program and his coaching interviews, I think this is a bunch of bullshit. I sent Trey this the other day because one of the alleged people who came forward, Seth talked about it, Carl Richardson, he was the whistleblower. This was on Twitter, but according to Edward Soto, who was a former manager of the team, he said that Carl made up the allegation to get Coach Fitzgerald fired. So now what we have is two different groups of people saying two different things, and none of it is good for Pat Fitzgerald because no matter what he does or no matter what he says, the University of Northwestern, the new president of Northwestern, now has to make the decision to fire him because of the potential allegations that were in his locker room. So they basically ruined the guy's career because there was potential hazing. And I'm not saying there wasn't hazing, but in today's world, we are so soft, I feel like that hazing of any kind would probably be blown out of proportion. In sports, if you're a freshman or if you're an underclassman, you're going to be hazed. That's what happens in locker rooms. In high school, it's not as bad. I think the worst thing that happened to me was as a freshman, they'd tape up our cleats in a big ball together before practice with all the other freshman cleats and make us late. We'd have to run gassers for it, or we'd be the guy who picks up all the stuff, the cones, the balls, other practice stuff like that. You pay your dues and you move on. In the NFL, it's not about a mental or physical thing. It's about the first paycheck that you get as a rookie, having to pay for the entire team or your position players to go eat. It's about making them stand up, embarrass themselves, singing a song. We've all seen Hard Knocks. Those are some private things that they have to do. Hazing happens in locker rooms. Some things are okay and some things are definitely not okay. There's a fine line between what is good and what is bad, but I have a very hard time believing that some of the things that they said were going on in that locker room happened. So this story is very upsetting to me. I don't think he should have been fired because I don't think Coach Fitzgerald would have done something like that or would have that going on in his locker room. But until we get more information on it, I will stand by that. And if it comes out that that stuff was happening, I will be nauseous. I'll be sick to my stomach because that's some crazy stuff that they're saying is going on. And I don't think Coach Fitzgerald's that kind of guy. But moving on to something less grim. Let's get into some category game. We have best college traditions in sports. This can be anything, college sports. What do we want the order to be? Trey, I'll let you pick the order.
Let me go first so no one takes my pick.
You want first?
Yep, I'll take the back-to-back late.
Seth, you want 2 or 3?
I'll take 2.
You want 2? All right, I'll take 3. All right, here we go. Best college sports traditions.
All right, and make sure you guys vote for me in the comments section because I have full faith and confidence that I love my category picks. First one, Whenever I see this on TV, it gets me hyped. I wish I was in the stadium. I wish I was a player on the sidelines when this is going on. It would juice me up. Number 1.01, Jump Around Wisconsin. That's going to be my first round pick. It's electric. I wish I could be at a football or basketball game when that's going on. I wish I could just feel the whole stadium just moving. Jump Around Wisconsin, 1.01.
I'm in big trouble. I'm in really big trouble. I only have 6 down, and that was one of them. All right, Seth, go ahead.
All right. Let's go with the Rock Chalk Jayhawk chant, baby.
Yeah, I like that. That was another one on my list.
That's
I like
chilling.
that.
It's chilling to be in that field house when everybody starts doing that chant. It just gives you chills. It's one of the best experiences ever.
Yeah. Man, I got 2 though. I got 2 back to back. I'm going with Virginia Tech, Inner Sandman. This is probably the best entrance in all of sports. Virginia Tech gets crammed in that tunnel, touching the Hokie Stone and blaring Inner Sandman by Metallica. They take the field, and you just know you have your bank account on Virginia Tech on a Thursday night playing Old Dominion as they play Inner Sandman on opening day. That is electric. The crowd's pumped. I'm pumped. I want to run through a brick wall just sitting at home. So VTech, Inner Sandman will be number 1. And then I'm going to go with Penn State's whiteout game. If you don't know what that is, go on YouTube, search Penn State against Michigan whiteout game. The entire Penn State crowd has one game a year at home. They all dress up in white. It's very intimidating to the opponents in 2019 against Michigan on the very first play of the game. After the kickoff, not even a snap. Michigan had to call a timeout because the crowd was so loud that the center couldn't even hear the quarterback clapping the ball. So Penn State whiteout will be my number 2. Seth?
All right, guys. I'm going to go to Colorado with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Ralphie the Buffalo.
Yes.
An over 1,200-pound buffalo. There's like 8 grown men trying to wrangle this thing as it runs through the middle of the field. I think that would just be awesome to watch Ralphie the Buffalo run out with all these people trying to keep her intact. So cool to watch.
I love it. Trey, back to back.
All right, and I'm going to be going with West Virginia when they sing Country Road, take me home to the place, something. I'm going to go with that one. I love West Virginia, and I love it whenever they do that. I'm just imagining myself in the stadium, drunk as hell. Game's over. We just whipped the ass out of KU by like 3 touchdowns probably.
No, not anymore. KU's
And
back.
they're hearing that song and me wanting to go home and drink a nice cold beer. And then my second back-to-back, it's going to be the Ohio State Band. It's kind of lame, but it is still a very good tradition of them dotting the I on the Ohio whenever they're performing at halftime. It's electric. I know that if I was in the band, I would take a lot of pride in that. They do a lot of good work. So those would be my 2 picks, West Virginia, Take Me Home Country Road, and the Ohio State Band.
No, that band is awesome. That's a great pick. Yeah, Buckeyes fan. I'm sorry you're a Buckeyes fan, but there's your Buckeye pick there. Seth, you're up. Pick 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a newer tradition. It's fairly new. Just imagine walking into a football game, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're hiding a tortilla. The tortilla toss at Texas Tech. Just imagine hiding a tortilla, carrying it into the game, and then frisbeeing it onto the field.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems like something that might be pretty fun.
Yeah, that's a good one. My third pick is going to be the Army-Navy game. I think it's just an iconic game. It's a standalone game. Everybody has respect for each other, and it's always a low-scoring game. That's what I love about it. It's the only under I take every single year, and if you guys know me, that's a big deal to me. I take the under every single time. My 4th pick is going to be the wave. The Iowa Hawkeyes, during their home games, waving to the Children's Hospital kids who are watching the games from the hospital beds. It's very emotional. I have to imagine for the players and the coaching staff, it's an uplifting feeling, waving up to them, seeing their big smiles, and gives them a jolt of energy to finish the game. So that will be my number 4 there. Seth, back to you.
Yeah, for my number 4, I'm going to go to a team that not many people probably see just because it's the University of Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii does the Hawaii Haka. So before every game, the Hawaii football team aligns and does a Polynesian traditional dance. I bet that would just pump the crowd up. You know, they're all out there doing their Polynesian dance. I bet that's pretty cool.
The island is a rocking. That game is electric. Trey, one more? No, back to back, right?
How the hell do you take my Haka dance? I thought I was in the free and clear on that.
Sorry, I watched a video on it. I was legitimately thrilled by it.
Yeah, it is very intimidating. I know I'd probably run on the sideline if I saw my opponent doing that. All right, so all mine have been snatched besides one, and I got 2, so I'm going to have to think on the fly on one of them. I'm just going to be going with the Auburn trees whenever everyone goes in there and toilet papers the tree. It came in the popular fashion a few years ago whenever they absolutely destroyed a tree and sued the crap out of whoever did that.
Yeah.
But this is my last pick. It's not sports related. It's still college tradition. I teased it earlier to Bear and Seth, and this is what it is. Whenever I was researching best traditions, this is the one that standed out to me. NC State has an annual Krispy Kreme challenge. Their participants have to run from campus 2.5 miles to the nearest Krispy Kreme, eat a dozen donuts, and run back 2.5 miles to campus. First person back wins. That'd be electric to watch. I would love to see that. By the time they get to Krispy Kreme, they're even 7, 8, 9, even maybe 4 donuts in. Oh, the look on their face would be absolutely dreadful. So those are going to be my 2, the Auburn trees, and I'm also be going with the NC State Krispy Kreme challenge.
NC State. Mark that down for potential colleges for my son to go to. Seth, you're up next. Last pick.
I'm torn between number 5. I have 2 that I really, really like here. I'm just going to list them both. All right.
Yeah, sure. Give me one though for the list. Give me your one for the list.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. Let me go first. I don't want you to take mine.
You go first. That's fine.
No. You take your one, and then I'll go, and then you go again.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Oregon Duck motorcycle entrance, guys. I mean, that's a staple in college football. Even on college game day when they're in Oregon, I think it's Lee Corso always gets on the motorcycle with the duck, man.
Yeah. My last pick's going to be baseball. I lied about all the football. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but when Texas A&M, the crowd, when the opposing team throws 4 straight balls, they go ball 4, and then the next pitch, if it's a ball, they go ball 5, and they continue that trend until they throw a strike. So that will be my number 5. That's a great tradition. And I've seen someone go like 12 or 13 pitches throwing straight balls. So that gets in the guy's head. It's very cool. The crowd's into it. I mean, college baseball is not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is fun when the crowd's energetic and doing that kind of stuff. But all right, that'll be my 5th. Seth, what is your last one you want to say?
Yeah, just for any of you who are really big tailgating fans, buy yourself a plane ticket to the state of Washington. The Washington Huskies do their tailgating on a lake, guys. Their football field is right by a lake, and all their tailgating happens on Lake Washington. There's a ton of boats just lined up there tailgating. So if you're a tailgating fan and you like being on the water and being in a boat and want a cool experience, go to Washington State.
Yeah, all right. That is categories game. It's time to bring on Tyler. Tyler Randall is going to be playing for that $50 for the chat. Look at this kid. He is locked in. He's ready to go. Tyler, I already told Trey this. Trey's going to be running this. He made the questions. He's going to be giving you right or wrong answers, but I will tell you this. We're going to give you 4 lifelines because these are a little bit tougher questions. You're going to get a 50-50. You're going to get an Ask the Panel, and you're going to get 2 phone calls. Any 2 people you want. I know my brother said he'd be in on it if you want to give him a call sometime, but we're going to do this. We're playing for $50. Let's get into question 1. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Do you need a recap of your lifelines?
Maybe when I need one.
Okay. All right. We're going to go 15 seconds for each question. Trey, I'll let you read them and do the answers.
All right. Which American football team won the first 2 Super Bowls in 1967 and 1968?
Packers is correct. Good work. Good work, Tyler. 1 for 1.
Good work, Tyler. All right. Question 2. Who is the NFL's all-time leading rusher?
Emmitt Smith.
I think he said Emmitt Smith. You might be covering up your very slightly, but Emmitt Smith is correct.
Good job, Tyler. Good job.
Hold on.
All right. And question number 3. All right. Which team holds the record for the most Super Bowl appearances, not wins, appearances in the Super Bowl? You have lifelines if you don't know it 100%. I think you're muted.
5, 4.
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
You got us?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you guys. Sorry. I think my AirPods got a low battery.
All right.
It's good now. What was your answer?
You have
So
lifelines.
what are my lifelines again? I have 50-50, 2 phone calls, and what?
Ask the panel. You can ask me or Seth.
Ask Seth because Bear knows the answer.
Yeah, true.
I'm leaning. I think it's the Pats, but I'm going to ask the panel just to confirm.
Ooh, you don't want to ask me. I don't know. I'm not sure on this one. Maybe use your 50-50. Or
Ask the chat. Green says A.
I think it's A.
You asked the chat. Travasky Green says
All right.
Patriots. Is that your
Going
answer?
with-
That is correct. Good job. You got all the easy questions, Tyler. You're down one lifeline. You used the Ask the Panel, Ask the Chat. You still got 2 phone calls and you're 50-50. Buckle up because these are
But-
about to get hard.
Trey, how many do we have here? Do we have 3 or 5?
We have 3 per.
Okay, so Tyler, if you get these 3 right, if you get past them, you can bank for 25 also for the chat for yourself. If you don't want to go on, if you don't have lifelines, if you want to do that, just a reminder, but go ahead. Sorry, Trey.
All right. How dare you interrupt me?
My bad.
Question number 4. Which of these following teams have not won an NBA championship? Trailblazers, Kings, Raptors, or the Orlando Magic? That's a look of unsurety.
I know. This is a tough one.
Think, Tyler, think. Uh-oh, Bear's counting down.
Need an answer.
Let's go Magic.
Magic, good job. Good
Hey,
job.
bro. I
We
left
got Swarovski Green in the chat. He looks like he's participating as well. He's doing a good job. He's practicing for next week. I love that. Now you better have some boxing knowledge because I threw a boxing question in here for you. Which boxer inflicted Muhammad Ali's first defeat in professional boxing? Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson, George Foreman Grill, or Buster Douglas?
I know it's between 2.
Which ones do you think it's between?
Frazier and Foreman.
Who? You still have the 50-50?
Tyler?
You have a 50-50. You have 2 phone calls.
Let's do the 50-50.
You want to do the 50-50?
All
All right,
right.
Trey, take 2 away.
I will take away Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson.
You still have 2 lifelines.
Can I use 2 on 1?
I will say this. Travasky Green says George isn't it.
Then we'll go Frazier.
Great
Whoa, that was a good job. All right.
Good work,
I
good
took
work.
away your 1 phone call. You just called Travasky Green.
You called him up.
All right. So you got 1 more phone call and you did a 50-50. So you only have 1 more phone call to get through.
All right.
Which of the only NFL teams to record 20 straight winning seasons from 1966 to 1985? He's thinking over there.
5, 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him. I'll call Jake.
Oh, he's calling Jake. We'll
All right,
see if
call.
Jake
Put him on.
knows.
Oh, are you on your phone? Oh, wait.
All right, Tyler. We will call Jake. Jesse
All right.
will call.
I will call
Bear
him
will call Jake for you.
if he's going to
All
answer.
right, Travasky Green doesn't know. He says, "Sheesh, this is hard. All of them were good in that area. I know. I packed it out. I did not want to make it easy for him." Which one do you think it is? If you had to take a guess while you're waiting for Jake. Nah. Don't give out.
Nah. Dude, where? There we go. All right, I'm calling him. I'll put him on speaker. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it or not.
Travasky Green says Dolphins. We'll see if he's correct.
Hello? Hey, you're on. This is Tyler's question. You ready?
Yes.
Which is the only NFL team to record 20 straight winning seasons from 1966 to 1985? The Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys, or the Dolphins? You have 15 seconds. Which is the only NFL team to record 20 straight winning seasons from 1966 to 1985?
Steelers.
Are you sure you want to go with Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Are you 100% you want to go with Pittsburgh?
Yes.
All
Tyler,
right, thank you for your call.
thank you for your call.
We'll do Pittsburgh.
All right, Jake says Steelers. Travasky Green says Dolphins. I'll give you a 50-50. Do you want to
Yeah, give him a 50-50.
All right, it is not the Steelers or the Dolphins.
Okay.
It's either the Packers or the Boys.
I'm gonna go with the boys.
Hey, good job. All right. Good job,
We're
Tyler.
all out of lifelines, though, so you can bank out for 25. This will get a little bit more difficult for you if you
Tyler,
have the confidence.
Bank
Go
out,
on and
bro.
try to win the chat 50.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, you know.
This is also yourself.
I'm asking the chat.
Chat, do you guys want him to risk it and to win 50, or do you want him to bank for 25? We'll give you a
All right,
couple seconds.
We'll give the chat a
Happy to
little
risk
bit.
it.
Travasky Green says, good job so far. God job, actually. You're God living.
It's God's plan.
Tyler, do you feel confident going into this difficult round 3?
Can I know what sports the 3 questions are?
Dennis says risk, and if Dennis says risk, that means the chat says risk.
Dennis says risk. All right, Tyler, are you wanting to risk it?
Says we're going.
Do it.
All right, we're going. First hard question. I think you'll know this. This seems like something you'd know. Who is the only player to win the NBA Finals MVP award while being on the losing team? LeBron Goat James, Elgin Baylor, Larry Bird, or Jerry the Logo West?
Elgin Baylor.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Did you say yes?
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler,
Incorrect.
and you lost. It was Jerry West. But I will give you a redemption. This next question's even more difficult. If you get this one right, we will give you a shot to answer the final question and to win the chat $50 and yourself a nice payday as well. Do you want to try to answer this question?
Tavarsky's on the ball as well. Jerry West, he's on the ball over there.
Tavarsky, oh my God, we might be in some
He'll be
trouble
good
next week.
I think.
Tyler, if you get this one right, we will allow you to try to attempt the final question and cash this $50 for the chat. Which player has won the MVP award a record 6 times? Walt Chamberlain, Wilt's cousin, Bill Russell, Michael Jordan, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Tavarsky says MJ.
Tavarsky says MJ.
I think it's MJ as well. Let's go,
Like
MJ.
MJ has 6 MVPs?
Final answer.
He's got 6 final MVPs.
That's incorrect.
We will give you one more guess.
No. We can't keep giving them guesses.
All right.
Let's just look at the final
laughs
question.
and giggles.
Let's just look at the final question. We'll talk about it later.
Laughs and giggles. Do you know this final question? Which is the only team to play in every single World Cup tournament known to man? Spain, Germany, Brazil, or Argentina?
Spain.
He said Brazil?
I think he said Spain.
Oh my God.
Might
This
be
guy's
Argentina.
losing it. This guy's
You know what? It doesn't
Dad,
matter.
I'm sorry.
You know what, Trey? What I think we should do is we can't have a cash prize every time, all right? Someone's got to win trivia. So I think what we should do is do $25 for every trivia, and then every time we have someone on, we just keep going $25 until someone wins it all. So if we have 4 people lose on one night, we go $100, and then we go $125, and we go $150, and we so on until someone banks that entire cash. We give that money to that person, they give the rest of the money to the chat. So if it's 150, get 150 to that guy, 150 to the chat. What do you think about that?
I have not heard a better idea in my entire life.
Thank you. I do. Thank you. That's a very good idea, I think. So no winner tonight on trivia. Tyler, it was a very good effort. I will say those were some hard questions. Tavarsky's going to come on next time. Trey, do we have the wheel ready for the NL spins?
We have the wheel, Tyler. I will bid you adieu. Thank you for trying your best.
Thank you very much.
I made them hard because in the back of my mind, I was like, Tyler, he's really good at sports trivia. I can't just be giving this guy layups.
I know, dude.
I wanted to make them hard for you. Sorry about that.
It was a little hard. A lot harder than the last time I was on.
Much
so.
harder.
Yeah.
Much harder.
Yeah, you crushed it last time. I had to make it a little bit harder.
I think I was
Sure.
10 for 10. So.
All right. Well,
All right,
thank you
bro.
for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Tyler.
Have a good night, man.
All right.
Let's get this wheel up. This is from Team Bear winning with NL. If you put hashtag Bear in the comments on our MLB All-Star video, you are on this wheel. So we only had 6 people, I think, out of
Yes.
one.
Should I add Dennis Burns on here since he's been in here? And should I add Travasky Green or no?
Oh yeah, put him on here. Yeah, might as well.
Travasky Green.
Out of the 1.4, I think we had on that video, only 10 people commented. So I guess they're not interested in $50. I mean,
Hey,
I'd comment.
5 out of these 8 did take you on the NL. So if maybe one of them will win, they haven't been commenting. Oh, I guess Dennis Burns.
Oh, yeah, he's Dr. Brosco. My bad.
He's already on there. All right, take him off. You don't get double. Actually, we did say.
No. Yeah. All right. Shuffle it.
Do it. Shuffle.
Shuffle,
Good luck,
spin.
everybody. My money is on Fast Car Eddie the Hitman Hart.
One of the Blues. Looks like one of the Blues. Nope, not one of the Blues.
Anthony Nugent. He was one of the people that rode you on the NL.
Did he? Anthony Nugent, 9951, riding me with the NL. Congratulations. Reach out to us at Bears Profit on Twitter or bearsprofitplays@gmail.com. We'll set you up with $50, PayPal, Venmo, whatever you want. We'll send you $50. But guys, that's going to do it tonight for our live show. Thank you guys so much for being here in the chat. It's been a lot of fun. We had a long show, almost an hour tonight. So had a lot of fun tonight. Check us tomorrow on our video. That's going to be out at 7 a.m. like always. But have a great night, guys. Travarsky, we'll see you next week for trivia. I'm going to reach out to you right now. So check your email right now. Guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for joining us, Seth. Trey, have a good night, guys.